The U.S. Department of Defense is considering a proposal to withdraw up to 10,000 troops from Eastern Europe, a move that has sparked concern on the continent. NBC News reported this, citing informed sources. It is noted that the units under review are part of a 20,000-strong force deployed in 2022 by the administration of former U.S. President Joe Biden to bolster the defenses of countries bordering Ukraine following Russia's aggression. European officials said that if the Pentagon accepts the proposal, it would raise concerns about the United States abandoning its allies in Europe, which see Russia as a growing threat. Internal discussions about reducing American troop levels in Romania and Poland come at a time when President Donald Trump is trying to persuade Putin to agree to a ceasefire. The 6 U.S. and European officials, all of whom requested anonymity, described multiple details of the proposal that have not been previously reported to NBC News. If the Pentagon adopts the proposal, it will reinforce fears that the United States is abandoning its longtime allies in Europe who view Russia as a growing threat, European officials said. The Russians would assess a downsizing of U.S. forces as a weakening of deterrence, and it will increase their willingness to meddle in various ways across the spectrum in Europe, said Seth Jones, a senior vice president with the Center for Strategic and International Studies. The Trump administration has made it clear that it wants European allies to take more responsibility for their own defense, allowing the United States to focus its military resources on China and other priorities. In his first trip abroad as Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth said in a speech in Brussels in February that stark strategic realities prevent the United States of America from being primarily focused on the security of Europe. Instead, the United States would focus on securing its southern border and countering China, Hegseth said. The U.S. is deploying military forces around Iran. This was reported by the Newsweek publication, citing new satellite images. It is reported that the U.S. aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson has entered the Indian Ocean. The ship's deployment is a significant step in bolstering the U.S. military presence in the region, with Washington likely to take a more aggressive approach in the coming days and weeks. It was noted that after completing the exercises in the Indo-Pacific region, the aircraft carrier in question will join the U.S. Central Command in the region to continue its efforts to promote regional stability, deter hostile actions, and protect the free flow of commerce. The U.S. military has carried out its largest offensive deployment to the Middle East since the Israel-Hamas war began in October 2023, according to a Haaretz analysis of open-source aviation data. In recent weeks, Washington has sent squadrons of fighter jets, stealth bombers and large quantities of weaponry to the region, amid its ongoing campaign in Yemen and ahead of the ultimatum issued by President Donald Trump to Iran over its nuclear program. Since the outbreak of Israel's war with Hamas and Hezbollah, the United States has deployed significant forces to the region and launched an airlift of weapons and equipment to Israel, particularly during the war's first weeks, and around the 2 major Iranian missile attacks on Israel last April and October. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has reinforced U.S. military capability in the Middle East with more warplanes, the Pentagon said recently, amid a more than 2-week-old U.S. bombing campaign in Yemen and mounting tensions with Iran. There is already considerable firepower in the Middle East, and the U.S. military will soon have 2 aircraft carriers in the region. Despite another wild day on Wall Street, with U.S. stocks veering from a huge gain at the opening of trading to more losses at the close, President Donald Trump told a Republican gathering Tuesday evening that we're taking in a fortune in tariffs. Investors are still trying to determine what to make of Trump's trade war, which is scheduled to kick into a higher gear after midnight. Trump told the Republican dinner event that he's been told that the U.S. is taking in $2 billion a day in tariffs. $2 billion a day. Do you believe it? I was told $2 billion a day, he said. In addition, we have a lot of countries coming to see us, they want to make a deal. The big question remains centered on how long Trump will keep his stiff tariffs on other countries, which would raise prices for U.S. shoppers and slow the economy. If they last a long time, economists and investors expect them to cause a recession. But if Trump lowers them through negotiations relatively quickly, the worst-case scenario can be avoided. Trump also spoke about the state of his big, beautiful bill of tax breaks and spending cuts that lawmakers are hammering out on Capitol Hill. According to Associated Press, House Speaker Mike Johnson finds himself in a familiar jam, with conservative Republican holdouts stalling action on the legislation. Those House Republicans are refusing to accept a Senate GOP budget framework approved over the weekend because it doesn't cut enough. Trump summoned House Republicans to the White House for a Tuesday meeting. But many Republicans left unmoved. Next steps are uncertain. There are a couple of Republicans out there, you just got to close your eyes and get there. It's a phenomenal bill, he said. Stop grandstanding. Trump summoned House Republicans from the Conservative Freedom Caucus to the White House for what was described as a contentious midday meeting. Despite Trump's push, some of the Republicans told the president they could not support the Senate package without a commitment to steeper cuts.
We're making a fortune with tariffs, $2 billion a day. Do you believe it? I was told $2 billion a day. You know, I get hit by the press about tariffs. We're making $2 billion. This isn't 35 million, that's peanuts. $2 billion a day. And then they say, gee, they don't know. You know, this is only the enemy can be talking this way. In addition, we have a lot of countries coming to see us that want to make a deal. It's so important that we pass the big, beautiful bill, because that's going to be, and I really think we're helped a lot by the tariff situation that's going on, which is a good situation, not a bad. It's great. It's going to be legendary. You watch. Legendary in a positive way, I have to say. It's going to be legendary. But I really think it actually puts pressure on those few Republicans that just can't get there. You know what the alternative is? A Democrat bill or a chapter for the country. You know, we have the debt continuation. And they have to do this. They have to get there. And I think we are there. We had a great meeting today. I think we are there. But just in case there are a couple of Republicans out there, you just got to get there. Close your eyes and get there. It's a phenomenal bill. Stop grandstanding. Just and the alternative is hell. You know, the alternative is hell. So the Republicans just have one little thing the Republican Party has to do is get together and damn vote. If you're a single guy or a second guy, and you fight like hell for what you get, and then in the end you have to vote because the policy is phenomenal. You know, they don't get every little ounce. It doesn't work that way. And this bill that we're working on now is the best I think we've ever passed. Mike, wherever you may be, it's the best. I think it's the best thing we'll get it passed. But I think it's going to be the most important thing we've ever passed. It's the best thing we've ever passed. And I do think that the war with the world, which is not a war at all, because they're all coming here. Japan is coming here as we speak. They're in a plane flying, lots of them, all tough negotiators. But things that people wouldn't have given us 2 years ago, wouldn't have even thought of it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 7, they're giving us everything. They don't want tariffs on themselves. And it's very simple. We're making deals, and people are paying tariffs. Countries are paying tariffs. Right now, China's paying a 104% tariff. Think of it, 104%. Now, it sounds ridiculous, but they charged us for many items 100%, 125%. Many countries have. They've ripped us off left and right. But now it's our turn to do the ripping. That's okay. We're going to make our country even stronger, stronger than it ever was. And 26 Republicans will fight for every state, every seat, and every single vote. We're going to fight like hell. I had somebody say the most successful first month in the history. Now they said the most successful 100 days about the baseball game where, I mean, he was really, the doctor told me, sir, I've never had anybody lose.